friends! Today I want to share some bright and happy cards with multicolored stamped images. I'm using the Stamp Market's adorable Butterfly Builder stamp set, which includes pieces and layers so you can customize your butterflies. Now for me, I found the best way to use layer stamps is to create a little template jig type thingy. I use the coordinating dies to cut a template. Then I put a little low-tack purple tape on the back and load it into my MISTI. Now once my template jig type thingy is all set, I can put blank die cuts into the openings and stamp on them. This makes it much easier for me to line up my stamps. And now one of the coolest things about this stamp set is the butterflies have separate layers and pieces. So you can see the bottom two butterfly stamps are just the top halves. That makes multicolor stamping so easy. But you can still do multicolor stamping with the top whole butterfly too. I'm just going to ink it up about halfway, and then I'm going to use a blending brush to soften the edges on that whole butterfly before I stamp it. Now next I've changed out the bottom two butterfly stamps for their bottom halves, and I'm going to stamp it another color. This time I'm inking just the bottom of that whole butterfly stamp at the top, and I'm going to use the blending brush again to soften the edges. The fantastic thing about using the MISTI is I can keep inking and stamping till I'm happy with the coverage. I'm also using the blending brush to add a little bit of pink ink to the orange bottom butterfly halves so they look a little bit more like my whole butterfly. I want them to have that same kind of soft blend where the colors meet and not have a super sharp divide between the pink and the orange. Then after I'm happy with these butterflies, I can remove them from the jig and put in new blank die cuts and stamp on those. So this is a great way to mass produce a lot of stamped die cuts, which you will see later I kind of did. I only needed a couple of butterflies, but I was having a really good time, so I made a whole bunch, way more than I needed for one card. Now after all of the base layers of butterflies are stamped with the pink and orange, I can use that same jig with the detail layers and stamp the detail layers in black on top. Now here are all my butterflies. As I was saying, I had a lot of fun making them. Now to finish the card I intended to make when I started, I used the thank you dies to cut a window in an A2 white cardstock panel. I layered that die cut panel over my card base to put in my MISTI so I can use it as a template for where to position the coordinating stamps. Now once their stamps are in there, I'm just going to remove that die cut panel before stamping on the card front, and I'm using the same pink and orange inks. And then to make my die cut panel into a shaker window, I'm adhering acetate on the back with some strong double-sided tape around the edges of the acetate, and then using glue pen around the die cut opening just so that everything is good and stuck down. Then I've created my shaker container with foam tape on the back of my window panel, and I'm going to fill it with a clear confetti sequins and then bring the card base on top and adhere it all together. Now finally, I'm adding my butterflies, some more sequins, and a little faux black spatter with a Copic marker. Now, thank you so much for watching. You can find more information in the video description, including a link to my blog, where I have photos of those other cards that I made with all my leftover butterflies. Now, please leave me a comment because I love hearing from you, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, it would make my day if you would. Now, thanks again, and happy crafting.